All right, we got the old John Deere TRS 32 and had this thing a long time. It's old. Got it used and it works good. I have a second engine on it. The person before me definitely did some work on it. So not everything's 100% the way it should be. The problem I have now is that when it's running, it sounds horrible. It sounds like it's going to just rattle itself apart. I think I've got a video of that. I'll insert that now so you guys can hear it. I think that the noise is coming from an imbalance in the impeller. If I walk around in here, let's see. I don't know if you guys can see this in here. You see those blades? These should all be angled the same way, okay? And as we go around, you can see that one's angled completely the wrong way. Well, one of them's the wrong way. So I think this is the correct way. And I think this one's the wrong way. I think this one's the wrong way. You can see the fold in the metal here. That needs to be... So I must have hit something pretty hard to knock it. They should be faced this way, okay? I think that's what's causing all that racket. Now, there's bushings all over the place in here. In the gearbox, bushing here, here, and here, and seals. And I think I'm going to replace those as well because that rattling will cause wear in those bushings and loosen them up. So we're going to do that. When you go to split this, the very first thing you want to do is, this thing is going to be this chute here. You want to pull the cotter pin out because if you don't, it's going to cause lots of problems. Pull the cotter pin out. That'll separate that from connected there. And then this line up here, we're going to have to disconnect this as well to split that. And then we got a belt in here that we're going to have to get out of there as well. There's a bolt down at the bottom. You see that one way down at the bottom? It'll kind of pivot and catch on that one. And then these two up top need to come out. And on the other side, we got the same setup here. We got these two up top. And you got that one on the bottom. That one on the bottom can stay in so long as it's not like super tight. It should pivot on that and catch on that. But these are 1/2 inch. So I'm going to see what I can do with a wobble socket and extension and see if we can get those out of there and zip them out nice and quick. Alright, 1/2 inch socket on extension. Let's see if it's enough. This battery doesn't have a whole lot. There we go. Alright, there's 2 of them. Go do the other side. Fell down there somewhere. Alright, so we got those bolts undone. We've got the thing undone here. Took the cotter pin out and separated that. I just loosened up this wire up top. I took the screw out of here to give me enough slack because hopefully I can just do all this without it separating too far as I pull that out. We'll see how that works. I don't know. I might have to take it completely off. I'm not sure. And I've got a trash can in the back holding up the back end. If you're doing this yourself, you need something back there to support it. I highly recommend getting another person to help you because that makes this whole process a lot easier. So let's see if I can separate these. And yeah, now that we got those bolts out of there. So one sec. we did pretty good. I'll bring you guys over to take a look at this. And we can see it separated here. Now we can get that that wheel off of there. Get the light on it here, and the key out. Okay. Oh, so what I did is I stood it up and I put it back on there. So that way I can just work at pulling these augers out in the front, and should be less work later on. Okay, so these are 1/2-inch bolts. You got to get these things. The augers have to get detached from the sides. So we got a 1/2 inch on the inside, and on the outside you got these 1/2 inchers over here. And you know, same on the other side. So let's do that now. Let's see. I'm gonna hold the inside, and we'll zip gun off the outside. Let's see if this works. All right, there we go. Whoop. All right, so you guys can see that there, and I'll just put them together so I don't lose them. Stick them on the ground, so I'm guaranteed to lose them. And now we're just going to work our way around. If I can find my wrench again. This is the real bugger part when you're putting it back together again. It's a lot easier taking it apart. Now these little things in here are like little plastic against metal, and they're just going to fall out, so you're going to have to catch them, and we'll remember how they go. Let's see if I can pull this whole shaft out now. There we go. There's those plastic caps right there. So it's nice for me. I got this painted part, you know, with the augers. Easy to know where they go back in. I'll have to pay attention to that. All right, now that we got this out, we can take a look at those impellers. And now we can look at bending that. Cool, that wasn't so bad. All right. Ouch! So you guys can see this one here. This is bent completely the wrong way, and you could tell, you know, you can see the fold in it, and so it needs to be bent the complete other way. So we're gonna see, and this one here too. You can see it. You can see the roll in it here, where it bent down, and we got to bend it back to about there. This is a good one. So what we can do. Oh, I brought out. There we go. Remember your old protractor from school? And we can line this up. We can see what that angle is. And that's well, if we do it this way, there we go. Like 40 degree. See that? 40 degrees about. Right where that. Maybe 40, 45, somewhere right there. So we're gonna try and get that. I don't know how that comes up on there, but we'll try and bend it back so that we get to that mark. Now how we're gonna bend it is gonna be the interesting thing. Okay, I just have this clamped on here. I almost feel like I can move it a little bit. Yes. Oh, look at that. Ugh. We're doing it, I think. I was initially just trying to bend it, but it was bended in the wrong spot. So what I ended up doing is getting the jack stands on both sides here. You guys can see that. I got them on both sides holding it up. And I think if I can support the underside here, and then I can hit it, hopefully with the mallet, it'll bend where I want and it won't separate the metal. That's what my plan is. So let me see if I can put you in a position where you can watch the show. It's bending. Is it bending where I want it to? This is tricky to say the least. Okay, I want to show you guys the problem here. So when I'm trying to bend this back into place, I'm grabbing hold of it, but it's not, this is where I need it to bend, is along this fold here. But it's not, it's bending further back here and pulling it away from this weld point. So what I didn't want to do, because it can weaken the metal, I didn't want to heat this with the torch, cherry red, and then bend it, which will work, but it'll weaken it and it's more apt to bend there. So what I think I'm going to do is I have to do that. I have to heat it cherry red, bend it so that it'll bend that way. And then we can arrest, when they heat a piece of metal, they want to keep it hard, they arrest it with oil. You have to quench it in the oil fast. So I've got a can of oil, and I think after we get that heated up, I can stand it upright, and then I can use, I got this can of oil here, I can use that to then quench it, and then that should keep the hardness of it, and we won't lose that. I think that's my only option at this point. So we've got this one to do, and we've got the one underneath it down here to do. So we're going to try for this one first. So I'm going to get the settling torch out and heat just that part, and then we'll get ready to bend it. We'll see how that works. Maybe. If I can heat this up, punch that roll out of it, that might be good. All right, so I'll show you guys what I'm doing. I got my gloves on. This is still gonna be tooting hot, but all right, here's a good one right there. As you can see, while we're there, it's hitting right about there at the 40. Okay. Rotate this to this other guy that we've now whacked the heck out of. And that looks like that's right about there now. About there, about the same. So this one's done. So maybe I'll do the quench at the end because we're going to have oil dripping all over the place, and yeah, so we'll reheat that and quench that at the end. We got this other guy to do up here. Okay. Okay, I'll flip it over on this side. The same bulge. We're going to try and work out of there. Get you guys around here. See what I'm even doing on this. So there's a little bit of a bulge here. So if I can heat this up from the top side and hit it down, that should get that bulge out. And I think that'll work. All right, I think that lines up pretty good with that weld. Now we'll see, because just like the other side, I'm sure, let's look at the good one. See, there's our angle that we want to get. There's where we're at. And if we look at the protractor, we're going to be way off. So we need to bend that back down, which is easier. So let's do that. It's still nice and hot. Get my glove on. I'll burn myself. Let's see how that angle looks. I got a little tiny bit to go. Yeah, because I think we're at about 50. When I get to 40, I think I'm I might want to, let's see here. Let's see if I can bring this back. Okay, I think when I'm bending it, it's coming along this edge here that we just heated. So I think I'm gonna heat up in this middle section real quick, just to get that to be the weak spot again. Yeah, that's bending right where we want it to. Check our angle. Oh, that I think is right on the money right there. Yep, that's. Make sure I'm holding it just right. Yeah, I think that's right on the money. I think that's good. Match that up at this angle. Yeah, that's pretty good. All right. A little wavy, but hopefully that's balanced enough to where we don't have all the craziness. Not quite sure how this is going to turn out. I'm going to try and keep you guys in view as much as I can. As I heat it up, cherry red, lift it straight upright, quench it, and bring it back down. See how that goes. Go. All right. I really have no idea of knowing if that worked or not, but we're just going to hope it does. Let's see how we do with this one. Well, there's that. Whew. Hopefully. Yeah, it looks like 3/4. Let's see if this guy will do it. If not, we'll have to get the big one out. Alright, we got a 3/4 on here. Let's see if this little impact will do it. Hey, nice. Not bad. There we go. Okay. Woo! Okay. There's this bearing out here. I'm shooting off. Lots of grease, which is good. And it is not seized up on the shaft. I would expect a lot of old ones to be, but I try to keep this thing lubricated. So, alright. Oh yeah, look at that. See, that's why I want to keep this thing going. It's still good. Not seized on the shaft or nothing. Alright. Back at it. Looks like some 1/2 inchers here. smell that whole grease. Kind of a gross all. Probably gonna have to get something. There she goes. Oh. The job gets real nasty real quick. Got a winner to 15. Yeah, that is a 15. All right, so you guys can see here we got a 15 on the end. Kind of doubting that that's the one that was originally on it. All right, so we can see we got a bearing here. We're gonna have this light in the way where we can see everything we're doing. Okay, so we got washer, like a split washer, regular washer, a bearing, a little bushing that goes inside there, and then we've got looks like some more washers in here. Jeez, oh man. Is this the big guy here? Yeah, I think that's how that's going to have to work. So we're going to have to take this other side off. Oh, no. Pokey poke. There we go. Oh, that sure pin's better. Better shape. Okay. And this side. Same thing as the other side. We're just doing this one over here, which let's see what size was that. Three full numbers right there. Nice. There we go. Woo. How goes that? Look at that. This one comes out good too. That's how you know you've serviced it well. Okay. Good. Now this whole shaft should come out. See the gear here. Ooh, maybe I can bring this down. There's the gear. And I mean, it's worn. Will it still work? I have no reason to doubt that it will. But there's that. Let's take a look inside here. This is pretty crazy, isn't it? All right, we got a seal there. And, you know, maybe that one looks okay. Maybe that's our seal that we're going to keep. I don't know. Whichever one's the easiest one. We got our worm gear up in here. So we should be able to pull this out, and then the worm gear should drop. I'm thinking it should. Alright, what would be holding that up? We got those. There it goes. Whew, man, that is so stinky. Oh, boy, there's a keyway in there for the worm gear. I don't know if you guys can see this, but let's pull this stuff out. I got all these washers. These are taking up the slack for. That was the repair from the other guy. Here's our worm gear. There's that. And I don't know if it's worn down here, but we'll see what the new one looks like. Maybe hopefully the new one's bigger and we don't need all those washers in there. That's wild. Boy, if you guys had smell-o-vision, you could definitely. This is rank. But you can take a peek in there and see. Look at all that stuff. We'll clean this out real good. Oh, man. All right, there's the end of that. All right, let's get this seal out of here. You can see. I can bring this light back here. You guys can get a peek at this. But yeah, you can see how mangled that seal is here. So I think I'm going to pull that out of there. Pop the new one in. Use this guy for everything. There we go. There we go. There's the old seal right there. All right. So if you guys can look in there. Okay. Hopefully it's. You can see at the left side of the screen that it's definitely worn away a lot more there than the other side. So yeah, I think that's definitely causing a lot of movement in there. All right, so we got to get the old bushing out, and because we're going to put these new ones in, and looking at it, it doesn't seem like there's a stop for it, so I think you can just push them straight through either way. So I got a socket that's slightly smaller that I think will fit, and I'm just gonna use that and hit on it and see how we do. Let's give this a shot. Make sure we get centered. Yep, we're definitely going. You can see that there. Let's just knock it all the way through. There we go. Cool. All right, there it is. You can certainly see one side's thicker than the other. I don't know how well it comes across on camera, but I'll just take my word for it. I'll show it to you a little bit better. Here, if I show you the shaft, okay, just like that. And here's this bearing. There's some wobble in here. You can see that. All right, now let's get the brand new one. Oh wow, there is no wobble at all. You see that? It's nice and firm, no slippage at all. Okay, I think that's a big part of all my problem. And I think that all of these bushings are like that. I think, there's the one inside this gearbox, that we just pushed out. I think there's the one down in there that we're going to have to get out as well. And also, I think these ones in here too, for the big, impellers there, the shaft there, the auger shaft. I could tell this side's thinner than that side. I think it's wobbling in all of these. So I think by replacing all of these, we're going to be in good shape. So I'm going to knock them out now. And then we'll replace the seals in all of them too. So, all right, we'll do the same here. This is one of the seals right here. Whew. Jeez, oh man. Got it. Oh, we finally got it. Wow, that was tough. There's that old seal. Look at that thing. We're going to pop it all the way back in. Just make sure we get it just right. Perfect. There it is. Let's do the same game we did with the other one. See how bad it is. These are all the same. Yep. Oh, there you go. There's that one, so you can see the wear on it. It's interesting. Okay. Wow, that worked out real well. There we go. That seal came out a lot easier holding it in there and using the seal puller. Okay. Battery's dying on me, so I'm trying to do this quick. I just poked out the other one that I had in the vise there. But this is the last one. This is the one that's in the big housing here, and I thought this might be good for you guys to see, even though it's much of the same, I'd imagine. I think these are all the exact same bushings. So same socket I've been using. Let's just knock it through. No seal on this one. There we go. Got it. Alright. Definitely play on that one too. Actually, not as much as the other ones. But yeah, you can see thin, real thin up there, thicker down there. That's definitely been worn away. So I think replacing all these would be great. Okay, some time's passed. All my parts came in, I believe. So I think we're ready to go. What's hilarious is, this thing started going wonky at the end of last winter. And I did order parts back then. And I was going through all the crap that I've got on my bench because it's just, piling up. And I had actually bought this. I had bought a whole new thing. Now, we had popped out the little bushing here, and I believe you can just replace this, but apparently there is a little seal at the end of that as well. And so this one actually has it. It's got the little seal in there. So I guess we'll just replace it with this whole thing. And then, we've got pretty much everything to make that work again. I'll keep it for, but never use it. We'll see. So, all right, let's pop this off and get the new one on. So it looks like there's these lock washers. It looks like each of them have lock washers. Just like that. Okay, boy, that's pretty light. Cool. Is there a nice new one? couldn't be easier, huh? Bag didn't have a part number, but alright, that was probably pretty good. That one's done. Okay, I've got the bushings. I've had them in the freezer, so it should shrink them up a little bit, so it'll be easier to put in. You know, I don't want to, you know, mushroom these up. You know, this is the old one. You know, when we were whacking on it, you can even see it marred it up a little bit. So hopefully if I shrink that up, it might make it a little bit easier. And I could probably even heat the inside up a little bit and expand that. All that should make installation, you know, a little bit easier. Let me go get I'll go get the torch and heat it up. Let me go get the bearing or the bushing. I'm pretty sure this is our brand new one of them. And yeah, that should go in there pretty well. Let me see if I can heat that up a little bit. I don't think it'll need a whole lot. Even that'll probably be just fine. Okay. Is this the socket I was using? I think so. A little hammer here. Okay, that looks pretty good. I think there's like a teeny tiny little lip of the bushing sticking up there. It's pretty well flush with the underside. Just get this little corner over here. I think that's how that was. Okay. All right, so now let's get one of our seals. Okay, there's our new seal, just like that. That should go. See right in there, I think. That's going. I was just checking a video just to see how these look, you know, how far in did they go. And I think they do go in a little bit. They're a little bit recessed when I look at the video. So we're just going to hit this in a couple more hits. I think that looks pretty good. I think that's pretty much there. I think that's pretty much where it was at. You can see what this looks like on the other side there. Just like that. Alright, let's go work on some of the other ones here. Alright, back on the ground. It's the main housing for the gearbox. So we've got this one to do. And then we will have the front one to do. So I guess we'll do this side one at this point now. Up there. That seems to be what we do. Alright, here's this flavor. Seal. Let's see how this goes. Hey, there we go. That looks really good. Perfect. Still a little cold. Was this one, I think? Give it a shot. All right. Looks pretty good. This one's this color. Looks like they're all about the same. That's in there pretty good. Okay, cool. Yeah, so if we want to test this, you know, we can see the shaft here. And let's just see. I think it'll go down to here and spin on this part. So oh yeah, that's perfect. You can see that. So we didn't like mushroom anything or mess anything up. Okay. Now let me just I got my carbide scraper. I'm just gonna clean up this surface here. Any bits of the old stuff off. There was really nothing on here, so but we're gonna do what they recommend, which is put some gasket maker here. So I got my Permatex Ultra Black here. Just clean the surface up real good. All right, I think that looks pretty good. I'll be right back. I'm just going to clean out these holes here. Got some gunk in there. All right, got those holes all cleaned out now. Let's start putting this back together again. Make sure that we got this the right way. I think this is going to slide on here. So I'll angle you guys up so you can kind of see what I'm about to do. We'll see. All right, so you see there's a little washer guy here. I'll stick that right back in there. Little chunks, and there's one on this side too. They're real small. You want to make sure those are there. You know, if you're replacing this. Now, I was looking online and I was a little concerned because of how this dips in like that, but that's how they look. That's how the new ones look. So that's good. I mean, you know, maybe it's a little thin, but you know, I think that's going to be really good. We didn't lose all that. All right. So get that in there, and okay. Let's see if I can get a good spot for you guys. All right, I'm putting this on. You got to get the worm gear in here first, because it has to be in here before you get this shaft in there, because there's no way to get it in afterwards. So, all right, got the worm gear in there. Now we're in. Okay. Now we should be ready to play. Goodness. There we go. Got over it. Oh, goodness. All right. Should be in there now. All right. Now, should be able to play with this worm gear to get it lined up in that. Just kind of using my fingers. Okay, I think I got it in a good spot. Okay, if you guys can see in there, I got the worm gear in there. I just got kind of my fingers in it. I'm going to try and rotate it around to where the notch for the keyway is. All right, I think I got it. And should be able to get this in here. All right, I think we're good. Good, I think we're in there. All right. All right, and you can see that there. Okay, so we got this here, and the worm gear is not down the shaft all the way on that key, so I'll give it a little bit of persuasion here. There it goes. There, you can hear the change in the sound. Now we've got that in there all the way. Do not think a lot of these parts are the original parts, but I had to kind of jury rig something to make it work. But in the end, I did get the right spacers and the right things to kind of like get it functional. But I'm sure your application will be different from mine, so we'll just call it at that. Okay, so clean this up a little bit. Let's get a little bit of a mushroom lube on here. Okay. I'm going to try and whack this thing down the shaft because I know we're going to get caught up on the spot where that. Alright, we got double O grease. That's what they say to use in these things, I guess. So, let's stand this up. We'll fill the rest of it in through the cap. So now let's get our Chromatex on here. I don't know if you guys can see this, but I'm just getting the Chromatex on here. Spot here, which looks like it lines up there. Okay. Well, there we go. These guys back down here. That's good. Okay. There it is. Yeah, that looks to be it. There we go. You guys didn't even see that. Alright, well, I got that off. I'm gonna use this guy. I put the extension on it to give us some leverage to get that off. What's coming out of this thing, isn't it? Alright, I think we'll call that good for right now. Alright. Alright. Put some grease in the shaft. Ooh, alright. There we are. This old nasty grease out of here. This guy, so the bearing goes on after, so this guy goes on first. Okay. All right, then we got our bearing. Fits right in there. Okay, and then we get our nut. Which is in here. There we go. Let's get this on. Let's tighten that down. Okay, good. Now we're good. Okay. Then this puck, you can see mine, I've got the paint mark, but there's these little locator pins right here, these tabs. And they're going to fit right on there in a very specific way. And you're going to have to pull this in nice and close, okay? Just like that. And then that should fit. There we go. Nice and flush. And then it'll squeeze into the sides. And the trick is you just got to make sure that this stays in there as you get all your little bolts and put them all together. So it's kind of like a juggling act. So I'm going to get this lined up first. But as you squeeze this whole piece inside the housing, you've got to kind of do everything at once. You've got to get the other side as well as this side in. Let's see if I can show you the whole thing here. So, all right. Okay. Working that in just enough. this in a way to make it a little easier on myself, but I might be making it harder. There, we're in it. All right. Oh, I got a shot. Hope it don't fall out. Okay. There it goes. Beautiful. Let's get this in here now as fast as we can. Okay. There. Just like that. Another one. There's that one. And last one. All right. All right. Now we can hold and zippy zap just like how we got it off. We're back with a good battery. Okay. And let's get that here. All right, one side done. I'll go for the other. Okay, there's where the key goes. Let's hammer that guy in. Okay, looks good. There we go. Put this up here. Little trash can there helps out. To use our extension, it's got the square that fits it perfect. And then we just tighten her up real good. Real snug. Okay. I think that's on there real good. Make sure that this is still somewhat straight. And it looks pretty straight to me. Alright, now we get fun trying to fish around this belt. Maybe I can put you guys on the other side. You can watch as I fiddle around with it on this side. good. One. Two there. Oh, other side. That's the thing for the bottom. So you guys can see here's a block, a bigger hole, smaller hole. So there's your big one. Going right in there. Alright, so this guy works. Alright. There we go. Now we got that in there. See if we can spin this just a little bit. Okay. Oh, where did our cotter pin go? New one. Almost there. Almost. There we go. And a little hole in there. Cotter pin goes through if you can find it. There we go. Alright, that's good enough. That's not going nowheres. And I don't believe it interrupts that at all. So looking good. Okay. There we go. That goes this way, I think. Right. Still works good. Alright, well, I wish I'd remembered this earlier, but after hardening the metal, it needs to get tempered. So what you have to do for that is you're supposed to use an oven, heat it to like 350 degrees, and then let it cool down to room temperature. And that will make it so that the metal's not brittle. So I can't put this in an oven, obviously, so I'm gonna try and do this myself. We'll see how it goes. I got a little thermometer here. Maybe I can get this in frame with you guys as well. There it is. I think it's at 39 degrees. It's cold out here, so I'm hoping if I can touch this on here, we'll get the temperature reading of the metal. So I'm going to see if I can heat up this part to about 350 degrees, and then we'll let it cool down, and then we got this other one to do up top. So let's give that a shot. Alright, I think this is pretty perfect. 334, 335. That's right in range. That's right where we want to be. So we let that one cool down, and then that should definitely temper it. And we got this one left. This is our last one here. Okay, now I got a space heater that I'm going to put in here because it's cold out. And you're supposed to let it cool back down gradually, so hopefully the space heater will do that. It'll make it so it'll go a little slower. So we'll just kind of force that in there and hope that does the job. Alright, it's the morning. You can see we got a ton of snow out there. So we're going to give this a shot. My biggest concern is if that metal's brittle because we didn't really temper it the way you're supposed to. But let me whack it with a hammer and just make sure it doesn't break or anything, and maybe that'll know how it's looking. I got a hammer here. I got a couple whacks, and seems okay. Alright, get it up. Pretty much at the gas, I think. A little bit there. Forgot to put the cover on.
Top tier camera angle right here.
Yeah,
I got the above view. Dude, it's kind of cool to see the
snuggo.
Dude, I got it on. I like perfectly went back so that everything could show. Dude, that might have been the most snow I've ever seen come out of a snow.
Well, guys, it works. I mean, it's not perfect. I mean, it's got a little bit of, noise balance stuff. But I mean, what do you expect? If it is brittle and they break, I'll let you guys know. We'll treat this as kind of like an experiment, but I'm pretty happy with that. If I can get a little bit more time out of it before I have to junk it, then maybe it's worth it. It's just kind of fun to fix it up. So I'm gonna move some cars around, and I forgot to put the cover on it. Just put that on, and we'll get the rest of this done. But anyway, till next time, if you guys like this, like, subscribe, comment, and we'll have some fun with something else. Just an update here. It took me a while to get this video out, but I've been using the snowblower all winter long, and this has been one of our worst winters. And it's been doing a great job. So long as it's got snow to throw, it doesn't vibrate. And the teeth on the augers, they haven't broken off. They're not too brittle, so the heat treatment's taken. I'm no expert on that stuff, but it's working good enough for me. So anyway, there you go. Take care.